I went from this to this, and in this video I'll tell you exactly how I did it, how I built my chest, my top 6 tips step by step that will help you also put on some good quality muscle mass on your chest. Alright, my chest is probably the thing that I get complimented on the most, but guess what? It wasn't always the case. When I first started lifting, I didn't have a big chest, and it was always something I wanted to bring up. And after 13, 14 years spent in the gym, you learn a few things here and there. So I'll tell you guys my top 6 tips that helped me put on muscle mass the most and build my chest. All right, let's jump straight into it. We're not gonna lose any time, but if you're new to this channel, please, I ask you, leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe at the end if this was helpful for you. All right, let's jump straight into it. Number 1, something that a lot of people would dislike, but it's heavy bench. All right, when I first started lifting, I was more of a power lifter. All I cared about is putting weight on that bar and lifting heavy. All right, I didn't really care much about the form, to be honest. I'm just telling you what I did. All right, and then we can at the end perfect it. But when I started lifting, I didn't care much about the form. All I wanted was adding those weight on the bar and going for sets of 2, 3. My goal was lifting 100 kilos as fast as possible. I was like 15, so I was like just trying to rack up the weight, and it did help me put some good quality mass on my chest. All right, looking back at it, I really believe that those years, even if my form wasn't perfect, even if I was cheating a little bit, but going for those heavy sets of bench for years, for the first early years of my training, were really big for me. All right, and if you see a lot of football players, for example, a lot of young kids that play football or play professional sport, that's pretty much what they're doing. All right, they go on that bench, they load up the bar, and they try to go for sets of 2, 3. Yeah, the risk of injury is very high, but the benefits that you're getting from those heavy lifts and the impact that it has on your nervous system, on your whole body, on your hormones, as a natural lifter, when you're starting, when you're young, I think that it is greatly beneficial. So that's number 1, heavy sets of bench. Now, do I still do heavy sets of bench years after starting to work out? I still do from time to time, and if I would go heavy on any exercise, it would be those big compound lifts, the bench, the squat, the deadlift. Now, I gotta say, I don't do any more PRs. I don't do any more sets of 1 or 2. My lowest rep sets would be sets of 5, for example. If I want to push it, I'm having fun with friends, I'll go for sets of 3, but I'll never do a PR. But I believe that doing those PRs in my early years of training were super beneficial. So if you're starting to train, I think that there is a lot of benefit of doing some heavy sets of bench. So that was number 1. Number 2, free weight exercises. So first 5 years when I first started training in Syria, and also when I moved to France after, now I'm in Canada. So I tried many gyms, and I was always going for the cheapest gyms, and the cheapest gyms have the less machines. So we're doing a lot of free weights, a lot of incline dumbbell press, a lot of barbell bench press, a lot of barbell incline press, a lot of dumbbell flies. I barely see anybody doing dumbbell flies anymore. And guess what? If you saw Pumping Iron, you see Arnold doing the flies and going for a crazy range of motion. Nowadays, we're just sitting down on this machine fly or a machine press. Everything is kind of converted to a machine. And the more I switch my training from free weight to machine, the more I feel like my chest is losing some muscle mass. All right, when I go back to free weight, I feel like my chest is getting back alive. All right, and yes, I'm not lifting as heavy on the free weight because it needs a lot of stabilizers muscles to work, and the science behind it, look, some people will tell you, well, it's because it works, stabilizes muscles. Some people will say, oh, well, it's not ideal because you're not stimulating your chest as much. I'd rather do a chest press where I'm isolating only the chest and there's no shoulder recruitment or whatever. I'm not a science-based lifter. I've experienced a lot of things, and after 14 years into it, I can tell you that free weight are something that really did help me bring up that muscle mass. I didn't everything, but for my chest, it was something that I could see right away. When I started my bodybuilding prep for a competition a few weeks ago, well, a few months ago now, we wanted to lower the risk of injury, so we dropped a lot of free weights. We switched it up for a lot of machines, and even though my calories were not dropping much, we just switched the exercise choices. I felt like my chest was just kind of disappearing in front of my eyes, trust me. All right, so, and going back to what built it, that's really what built it, free weights. All right, going at it on those incline presses, going at it on those dumbbell bench press, going at it as those dumbbell flies. Okay, yeah, machines are good for finishing or pre-exhausting, but don't make machines the steak of your training, the potato, what is it called? the bread and butter. Don't make machines the bread and butter of your exercise. Number three, this is something weird, all right? It's very weird because it's something that I love doing. A lot of people despise it. But what I do is I do a lot of push-ups in my training. A lot of push-up, a lot of body weight exercises. Sometimes I'll finish my bench press, let's say 1 rep short of failure, and then I'll jump on the floor and I'll do push-ups to failure. All right, so why I do that? Because I don't want to overstress my nervous system on the bench press. You know, the bench press, the squat, the deadlift, those big compound lifts, the overhead press, the barbell rows, they are very, very taxing on your nervous system. So yes, they are very rewarding, but if you go 3 sets on them to failure, and I'm saying absolute failure, bro, your nervous system will just be fried and you won't be able to handle as much volume, because then after that exercise you just want to go home. Basically, you're depleted, you're drained, you just need to go home, rest it, eat it, lay on the couch. So the way that I decided to adjust my trainings is, yes, I'm big on compound lifts, but I never go to failure on compound lifts. And a guy just asked me in the comments, should I go to failure on compound lifts? I said no, because of their impact on the nervous system. They recruit so many nerves, they can drain and overburn you, overstress your nervous system so fast. But it doesn't mean that don't go intense on them. Just start 1 rep short of failure. Don't fail on them. Go heavy, go intense, but don't fail on them. All right, failing on a barbell back squat, guys, it is so demanding on your nervous system. It is so stressful on your nervous system that by the time you go to your second exercise, you're not able to really recruit all the nerves and all the muscles as you need to. So what I rather you do, stop 1 rep short of failure. In that way, you're getting a lot of benefit from those compound lifts, and then do an exercise that is not overtaxing on your nervous system. In the chest case would be a push-up. In the squat case, it would be body weight lunges. Back case could be pull-ups. That's the way I do it. So I'll stop, let's say 1 rep short of failure after the bench press. I'll jump on that floor and boom, I'll do push-ups. Now I'm doing push-ups to failure up until I can't do any more. All right. And this gets me my chest to failure. It gets the stimulation that I need on my chest. Make sure that I break down those muscle fiber and get into them. But at the same time, I'm getting my heavy compound lifts in, and I'm not overstressing my nervous system. All right, so it's kind of like an add-on, push-up exercises after the big compound lift. That's something I do. A lot of people don't like it. I'm just telling you what works. All right, for me, that's how I did it. That's how I did it. Okay, I know a lot of times, sometimes I say, hey, you need to do this, you need to do that. I kind of change my way of talking, you know. I don't wanna just tell you do this or do that, but I like people to see what have worked for other people and then do your own experiment on yourself. But I gotta say, a lot of people tell me, well, studies have said this. Guys, you are an active study right now. You are the study. You are the experience. The experience is the best study. So experience on yourself. Yeah, I'm all right following studies, but I wouldn't adjust the way that I train just because a study said that. I'll take it into consideration. Let's say a study said doing flies will build your chest. I'm just talking whatever. I'll start incorporating flies and I'll be like, okay, how do I feel 2 weeks in, 3 weeks in? But don't be that blinded guy that just follow what a study say, because studies will always change. And the real studies are you. You are studying now bodybuilding on yourself. Quick example, rice, potatoes, both sorts of carbs, right? Bread, source of carb as well. Studies, in reality, your body will break down glucose and use it for a purpose. So doesn't matter what you eat, let's say rice or potatoes, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be that much of a difference. But I have clients that would tell me, bro, when I'm eating potatoes, I feel like my body's coming alive. When I'm eating rice, I just feel like it's not getting there. When I'm eating sourdough bread, I feel like my muscle absorb it better. And those are very important things. It's not just about, oh no, it's all carbs. No, don't worry, it's all in your head. No, because even if it was all in his head, well, placebo does work. All right, so at the end of the day, take what science says, but adjust it to you. If you feel better eating oranges instead of apples for your fruit, for example, then go with it. You don't need to always, trust your instinct. That's pretty much it. Bodybuilding is really something that sometimes we gotta go deep within and ask ourselves those questions. How do I feel? It's not because everybody's taking a protein shake after a workout that you necessarily need to do it. Maybe for you, you'll feel better, I don't know, waiting a bit and then having a meal. Look, bodybuilding, that's how it is. You gotta do the work on yourself. People like being told what to do, but nobody wanna actually take the time and be like, you know what? Let me put it down on a piece of paper. Today I ate this. How do I feel? I trained like this. How are my legs growing after doing squat? Okay, this guy said barbell back squat are not good, but since I do barbell back squat, my legs are growing. So maybe that's what this guy is saying is for him. All right. And that's actually applies to me. Since I stopped doing barbell back squat, switched them for hack squat, my legs started shrinking. And yes, I was going to the same intensity. So just telling you, don't follow what everybody says. Try it on yourself. So that was me ranting. Number 4 is rep range. Most of my sets were 8 to 15 rep range, and a lot of times we're more in the higher range, so more 12 to 15. All right, I know we hear a lot 8 to 12, 8 to 12, 8 to 12, but for me, for my chest to really get them to failure, I wasn't able to do it with heavy weights. Yeah, I would go a bit heavy on the bench press, but when I'm doing my incline dumbbell press, I would always feel better when I'm doing sets of 15. Comment down below if that's your case as well. But as heavy as I go with 12, I would feel fatigued and I would feel like, yeah, I did push a lot in terms of my strength, but in terms of that mind muscle connection, I can't get it past before 12 reps. I really need to do a lot of reps and maybe 15. Sometimes I will do 20 reps to really get that crazy burn and squeeze at the end of those sets. And since I started doing more of those, I started seeing more hypertrophy gains. All right. So that's what we want. We want hypertrophy. Yes, strength is important, but when you want to grow, you want to get that hypertrophy also, and you want to go for the high reps and feel your chest working. There's no point if you're doing, let's say, 100 pounds, 8 reps, but you don't feel your chest. You're feeling your triceps, your shoulder. You feel like you performed well. You kind of did a good movement pattern, and you pushed well. But then I'm like, are you feeling your chest? No, I feel nothing. Okay, so drop the weight, and this will bring me to my next point, which is control it a little bit more. So drop the weight. Tip number 5 is controlling the weight, controlling the rep range, controlling the tempo, controlling the time under tension, making sure that you're not just bumping up those reps just for the sake of pushing weight up and down from A to B, but really controlling that weight, controlling the negatives, and really making sure that you have control over the whole set. All right, bench press. A lot of people will bounce it. They will bounce it off their chest. Okay. Dumbbell press, I see a lot of people just like really bouncing it. There's barely 2 seconds time under tension each rep. All right, that's not the way you want to do it. Let's say you got 2 guys. One guy is repping 100, let's say 100-pound dumbbells for 8 reps, but every single rep is 1 second. So it's like 1, 2, 3, no control of the negative, nothing at all. But the other guy, he's got the 100 pounds, he's doing 8 reps, but he's slowly 2 seconds in the negative, boom, squeeze, 1, 2, boom, squeeze, 1, 2, boom. Both of them did 8 reps. Both of them will say, I do 100 pounds for 8 reps. Which one will get the most gains? I'm asking you, the one that had more time under tension. All right, so don't really focus on just the weight, but really focus on how you're controlling the weight, how you're contracting your muscles, how you are connecting with that muscle. Okay, very important. So control the weight. It's not just about the weight on the bar. Switch up that mentality. And number 6 is really a bonus. Feeder workout. What are feeder workouts? Feeder workouts, basically feeder. We're trying to feed our muscle. We're feeding it oxygen, blood, nutrients. Okay, Rich Piana really made that famous. And when I started training actually in Syria, I'll tell you a little story. I used to always after school after school I used to go to the gym, and before bed I used to get bored. You know, we didn't have all the Instagram and all those stuff. I used to get bored before bed, and my dad used to watch TV, so I couldn't really go watch TV. I would stay in my room and I would do push-ups to failure, 5, 6, 7 sets, just having fun. I had a little mirror. I'd do push-ups to failure, and then I would squeeze my chest and look in the mirror and kind of touch my chest. I didn't know what I was doing, but in reality I was doing something called feeder workout, pumping blood in that muscle, bringing that blood, nourishing that muscle. Even though you trained it, or even though it's your rest day for your chest, it doesn't matter, because you're bringing blood. You're not necessarily breaking down muscle fiber. I wasn't doing bench press, I was doing push-ups. So it's more of a pump style, very high reps, very short period. So it's like maybe 10 minutes total, but just getting a lot of blood in there, getting a lot of nutrients, taking away a lot of nitric, what is it called? the waste, all right, taking away the waste, really replenishing that blood, regenerating that blood, bringing in oxygen and taking away the waste, bringing some nutrients. So maybe you ate some carbs and protein, boom, all that will be shuttled in your chest, so it's going to create that good environment to grow your chest. So if you're someone that is lacking in a body part, you can do it for calves, you can do it for shoulders, you can do it for anything lightweight, maybe a body weight lunges if you want to do grow your legs. For shoulders, you can do some side raises every single day, 20, 40, 50 reps, sets of 3, 4, 5, just really short and fast. Get that blood in there, do it every single day for a month, and trust me, you will feel the growth. All right, so that is pretty much how I built my chest. There's no secret. I would also stick with the exercises that I feel works the most. All right, I don't do a ton of variety, guys. I don't change my programs. People say, hey, how often should I change my program? I never change my program. Stick with the exercise that work and get better at them. Stick with the things that you see result with and put all your eggs into one basket and double down on them. All right. Do you think Ronnie Coleman was changing his program every single 6 weeks? No, he was doing the basics that work: the bench press, the squat, the overhead press, the deadlift, the barbell rows, and getting better at them. Choose what works, get better at it, and over time you will be progressively overloading at them, and you will get bigger, stronger, faster, leaner, smarter. And that's it. Hopefully you liked that video. If you did, please leave a comment, because I want to grow that YouTube channel, and it is growing. If you like that, just comment salt, all right? Real salt. This is a very good salt, Redmond salt. Go on YouTube, on Amazon they have it, Redmond salt. So comment salt if you like that video, and go grab yourself a nice cup of coffee. Enjoy the day. Hopefully the weather is getting better and better. It's March. It's time to really show everything we've worked for in winter. All right, shining all summer, working all winter. What was it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. See you guys soon. I can't wait for summer. Ciao, my brothers.